take a seat, and welcome to the sit down.
Welcome to the sit down. I feel like we're getting into the podcast before we even get started. Man, we got a special guest here today. Probably one of my best friends. A lot of people have asked to have this person on the podcast because we got a pretty cool relationship, man. We've been friends for a long time. This is Noah Wanzek. And so we're going to get a little bit into his story, but Wanz, welcome to the sit down.
Appreciate you having me here.
You're a full-time listener.
Oh, yeah.
You listen to every one.
Oh, yeah.
Better. You better.
Yes, I do.
Man, Wanzek and I, we've been friends for a while, but it really started at UND. We're going to get into everything. How we met, all the good stuff, some of the things we've been on. You're wearing your North Dakota football.
Team issued.
Yeah, this is team issued gear. Hard to get stuff. Is that from when we played?
Yeah, it was. I think this was 2019, I want to say.
Hey,
19.
Shout out to Travis Kalbach.
Yeah.
He hooks us up still with some team issued gear.
Yeah, we got the swaggy stuff.
Here's a little advice. I think we talked about it in the Bubba episode, but treat every part of your organization with the same amount of respect. Head coach, assistant coach, janitor, team equipment guy. Big value to treating the team equipment guy with respect.
Well, he was one of those guys, you remember, like when we were trying to get new gloves, You wanted to be on his good side.
Absolutely.
Right? You're 2 weeks into those gloves, those things were sweaty, broken up. If you weren't on his good side, you weren't getting new.
If you ticked off Travis Kalbach, you had to have the same pair of gloves the entire season.
Yeah. And they last about 2 weeks.
Yeah. Sweaty. Think of like the worst smelling, just gross thing. That's what gloves smell like in the college locker room.
Yeah.
Well, man, it's good to have you. We really should go back to kind of how our relationship got to be where it is. And I have mentioned, I don't know, hundreds of times in my speaking events, I brought up the meat shed. We just need to cover and just get it out of the way. People need to know where the meat shed is and why it is legendary. Give them your insight.
Imagine 5, second year, 6 Division I college football players in a
1,800.
Maybe 1,800. That's including the garage, probably.
Maybe.
House.
Yeah.
Really only 4 bedrooms. One was essentially just a walkway from the kitchen to the other bedrooms.
Correct.
And then the other one was just an office that wasn't a legal bedroom.
Kind of like a closet.
All stacked in this house.
Yep.
With, I'm not kidding, a kitchen probably the size of these 2 chairs.
That's about it. It was like a walkway kitchen.
Yeah.
There was not much counter space, a single sink. That was when I learned you have to have double sinks in kitchens.
Yes.
Man. The so many dishes got stacked up in there. But the meat shed was special, man. We had a single stall garage with a little lean-to. I don't know if it's actually legal if we can go take a picture of the meat shed and put it on this podcast.
6 Ave.
We'll maybe do that if we can. But we had the actual meat shed was the garage. And it was just a single stall garage. It had this little lean-to, and we put 2 couches. We put a recliner in there, and that's where we hung out. That was like our go-to spot. We won't get into too many of the stories at the meat shed, but we will. Let's throw up a picture of the actual sign. And this was what hung in the meat shed, and it's just there was a lot of meat in the shed. If you know what I mean. There's some big boys living at the meat shed. So that's really where our relationship probably blossomed, was at UND. We lifted together. We played together. We traveled together. We'll get into all that stuff. But I do want to see if you remember the first time we actually spoke.
Yeah, I think the first time we spoke, I'm not sure exactly what month it was, but you called me because you were, correct me if I'm wrong, the first guy in our class to commit.
I was number 2 by about 10 minutes.
Yeah, who was the first guy?
Evan Holm.
Me
and Evan Holm committed like back to back within 10 minutes of each other. But yeah, I was already committed really early, and then one of our coaches, actually the same head coach now, Coach Eric Schmidt, he's like, hey, we're working on this kid from Jamestown, kind of in your area. You mind giving him a call? And so I gave you a call.
Yeah, I was one of those guys where homebody. Like, you could not get me out of Jamestown. The thought of moving 2 hours away to Grand Forks, for most people in the country, it's nothing. But to me, it was like, I am completely uprooting my life. going across the state, even though I'm still already on the east central side of North Dakota,
Yeah.
to Grand Forks, a bigger town, more things. It was a really hard thing for me to get over. And I think, to be honest with you, before you called me, that was not even a thought. Like, I wasn't going to Grand Forks, UND. I felt like I was going alone, the only guy. There wasn't going to be anybody around me. But then you kind of, to be honest, you switched my kind of mindset on that. Like, hey, I'm going there and going to have 100 family members on the team.
So what was the other option?
The other option was to stay in Jamestown.
Okay, so so Garrett, who is one of our videographers, played basketball at the University of Jamestown. And so this is going to be very hard for him to hear. But if I don't convince, I'm not saying I'm the only one to convince you, but if you don't get swayed to go to UND, you go to the University of Jamestown to play basketball. So,
I go to UJ. Might have been JC at the time. I can't remember.
Yeah, Jamestown College, University of Jamestown to play basketball. Also, my first scholarship in high school was to the University of Jamestown. If I wouldn't have played football, I really was considering playing basketball. And University of Jamestown had just gotten a mechanical engineering degree that I was really interested in. That's where I got my degree in at UND. They just started the program. I also was thinking of playing basketball at the University of Jamestown. So potentially we both could have gone to the University of Jamestown and played basketball. And Garrett, I wish I could have a camera over here on Garrett. Garrett has both hands on his head thinking, oh, what could have been? What could have been? We maybe could have won a national championship. Garrett, would we have won a natty? We had a good shot. We'd had a good shot. That would have been fun. But to recap that story, I remember Eric Schmidt, he said, hey, just give this kid a call. And he's going through some stuff right now. Just see if you can talk to him and let him know that there's other North Dakota guys going to UND. And so I give you a call. I didn't know who you were. I had heard about you because you were a stud athlete, but we were in different divisions. We grew up a little over an hour away from each other, but you were playing in Class A. I was playing in Class B. Just ask them how the Lions All-Star game went. We'll get into that. But
1-1, we split. I don't know.
We beat you by 18. We beat you by 18 day one, and then you guys got lucky and beat us by 1 in the second game.
Class A 1-1, Class B 1-1.
Okay.
I don't know what else you can say about that.
Domination. If you were to go, check the tape. But I'd never met Wanzek, and so it was just literally a cold call. You end up going to UND. You make the decision. We go to UND, and one guy that I met on our unofficial visit was this big kid from Wisconsin, and this kid was named Noah Mortel. So both named Noah, different last name, Noah Mortel. And he asked me, hey, do you want to be roommates freshman year? And I had already committed to somebody to be their roommate. And so I said, nah, I can. I've already got a roommate, but I know this guy that just committed. He's from down the road. I don't think he's got a roommate yet. And so I gave him your number, and then the Noahs became roommate. And let's flash a picture. We're still some of the best friends still to this day. We're going to go to Wisconsin in a couple weeks. When this episode drops, it'll be this upcoming weekend. We'll go bow hunting out in Wisconsin because Noah Mortel and Noah Wanzek, you guys are some of my best friends. Do you know how that's how that all went down?
Yeah, I think I didn't have a roommate at that time. And then I texted the coach, hey, I want to be with Noah. And it just it was seamless from there. And it worked out really good because freshman year, we were all on the 4th floor Norrin for the summer, and then everybody moved out, and then it was me, you, Noah, and then Ray Haas. Shout out Ray.
Yeah, shout out Ray.
And then it just kind of moved from there, and, we had a lot of the same interests, right? Like Noah grew up in a small town in Wisconsin, very similar to North Dakota.
Yep.
Spent time hunting, spent time snowmobiling, doing all certain types of things, and it just... it's kind of a match made in heaven. I mean, we have a snap group that we've had since 2016.
Yeah, absolutely. And some you guys can relate listening. Sometimes you get really, really lucky with your college roommates. I think it's just like a God thing of like, how did we get so lucky? This guy, we're going to be friends for the rest of our lives. And then there's on the other side of like, sometimes you just get really unlucky and you just get a terrible, it's not a fit. They make your year awful. In our case, we got really, really lucky, and I'm thankful for it. So shout out to Norrin, 4th floor. We're still friends with some of the other people that weren't even athletes.
Yep.
Man, really, really fun time. That's really where it all started for us. But that conversation and go back to that phone call. The reason that it was a hard decision to leave home was that you were going through some really hard times. And I think a lot of people that are listening know the athlete, Noah Wanzek. For those that don't know, Noah is one of the best players to ever play at UND. He'll never tell you that, but right now I think he's number 3 or 4 all time in receptions and receiving yards. He won a lot of games, played wide receiver. I think a lot of people know that, Noah Wanzek, but they don't know what made you who you are. And I had just lost my best friend, Zach Kovalvog. Boy, it would have been probably just a few months prior to making that call to you. And I was getting away from the game of basketball. I didn't want to play basketball anymore because of the pain that came with that game, because it just reminded me of Zach. And I felt like football was kind of an escape for me. And so I gave you a call and just said, hey, like, this is why I'm doing it. Maybe it could be the same for you. Do you want to just get into a little bit of some of the things you were going through at that time?
Yeah, I think our stories, sort of lined up really closely, and, we'll probably get, I'm sure, deeper into it. But when I was a sophomore going into my junior year of high school, my mom passed away from pancreatic cancer. And the one thing she told me, and this is like one of the biggest things that sticks out to me, is a couple of days before she went on hospice, which, as we know, is just a place where you essentially go to be comfortable until you die.
Yeah.
She loved her kids. Like she loved them to death. The only thing she could love more in this life is her grandkids. And she had a different relationship with all of us because we were just so spread out, right? Like my brother's, a little bit more than 12 years older than me, but I was her baby. I was 14 going on 15.
Yeah.
And she sat me down on the edge of her bed, when we were kind of transitioning to hospice care. Like, we were so hopeful and positive, like she's going to pull through. And that was kind of the day where it's like, she's probably going to die soon.
Yep.
And she said, don't let this ruin your life. And that has stuck with me so much since that day. And I think that kind of comes back to going to UND because I was such a homebody. Like, over that time, my best friend in the whole world, and one of my best friends in the whole world currently, is my dad. And it's like, I can't leave my dad, right? Like, he just lost his wife of 30 plus years. I just can't imagine leaving. And then that quote came back. It's like, Hunter called me. He's went through a very tough time with his, experience with his friends. And it's like, as much as I would love to stay home and be there and be with my dad and play basketball, how can I let this opportunity go? And it kind of brought me back to what my mom told me on the edge of that hospital bed 3 years earlier.
Yeah. As you tell that story and you bring back your mom and you're thinking about sitting on that bed, what are some of the emotions that come flooding back?
Yeah, I think I probably didn't deal with it the way that you probably should.
Yeah.
I've kind of always been a little stoic, right? Like keeping things bottled up and sort of kind of an anger inside. And I think there's a lot of different things to that. Like, number one, just sad, right? Like, you're not going to see that person again in this lifetime.
Yep.
They're not going to be there for your wedding. They're not going to be there for your firstborn or things like that. And, as a mother, like, that's the person that you lean on for everything. And she was that for our family. So just, deep, deep sadness. I think, the kind of other feeling, it's like, it's hard to put it in words, but the best way I can relate it to is anger, right? Like, here's this person that is so involved in the community, would give the shirt off her back for the people that she's a boss for.
Yep.
And she did, countless times, was a great, mom, was a great wife. And she's the one that had the situation happen to her.
Just ask the question, why?
Yeah. So
why her?
You go through different stages of grief, like, why her? My sister's leaned on this quote that I think about a lot. It's the prettiest flowers get picked first.
Oof.
And that is, you lean on that, you lean on your faith, you understand that you don't understand why or the path or what God is thinking, but there is a plan.
Yeah.
And she was called to the next level.
Right. So you lose your mom, and the rest of your siblings are out of the house.
Yeah.
Correct. Right. It's just you and your dad.
Yeah. My sister Abby, 3 years older than me, she was freshman going on sophomore at NDSU.
NDSU.
Yep.
Okay. So there's a time for, correct me if I'm wrong, your junior and your senior year, end of your sophomore, junior, senior year, where it's just you and your dad.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about that time.
Yeah. So to kind of go back, so she got diagnosed at the end of May of 2014.
Sure.
The doctor said, hey, you'd be lucky if you live 6 months.
Yep.
She made it just over 5. So pretty accurate at that standpoint. So from, when she passed away in October of 2014, I was, just beginning my junior year of high school.
Sure.
So we had my entire junior year and my entire senior year where it's just me and my dad in this 4-bedroom household with a, big old garage there in Jamestown. And we grew so close. We talk a lot about divine intervention a little bit. Like, we were there for each other when we needed each other most. And I remember there were countless nights where him and I just were on the couch sleeping, turn the TV on, just whatever it was, we were just by each other, right?
Yeah.
Just grieving. So that's how we became so close at a, really a time that we needed each other.
I know your dad. Our families have become really, really close. How do you think it affected him? Take a step back and look at it from the outside looking in. How do you think it affected him?
It's tough, right? Like, imagine, you build a life with this person. You have 4 kids, 15 to 28. You created a business on the farm together and all this stuff. And then, in the matter of 5 months, it's completely changed. My dad was a warrior.
Yeah.
Right. When my mom was diagnosed to when she passed away, it was just a handful of days she got to be home. Every other night she was in the hospital, and my dad was there every night. Some nights sleeping on the ground. And so he was, that husband figure that my mom needed. But following that, it's just, for him, after building a life like that, it's almost like a large part of it got taken away.
Yeah.
And so I know him and I have, gone through that stage of being angry and wondering why. And, we've talked to a lot of people on how to deal with that. And it always comes back to, God's got a plan that you're not looking at, right? Like, there's something that you're not aware of, but it's happening for a reason. And we found peace in that.
If you ever get the chance to meet Noah's dad, Tracy, he has kind of this infectious joy about him, and it comes off in, don't take this the wrong way, Tracy, but it's kind of dorky. He's kind of got this laugh to it where you just feel better when you're talking to him.
Yeah.
And if you would see Tracy today and you'd see him at a game, you'd have no idea of the struggle that he went through. But I think we can all relate to this. Man, we learn so much from the people in our lives that we're going through it with. I think back to, my mom and some of the things that we've been through together. Man, it binds you closer. And of course, we don't plan and we'll want any of the struggle in our lives. But have you seen something that is started out as a tragedy?
Yeah.
The loss of your mom. How have you seen it bring your family together?
Yeah. We've always been a really close family,
Yeah.
Planning a lot of things. It's just kind of go back. So my brother and his wife, my oldest brother, Jordan, got married on April 12th. And then my mom was diagnosed Memorial Day, the following month.
Yeah.
And it was almost like that wedding day was celebrating, a beautiful marriage who now they have 3 beautiful kids and live on a farmstead. Um, but it was the wedding that everybody that was there still talks about.
Mm.
And it almost feels like it was somewhat of a send off for my mom too.
Yeah. Wow.
And from that day, we battled through tragedy. We've all kind of dealt with it in certain different ways. But and don't get me wrong, there were days where we argued with each other.
Mm-hmm.
You're a
Yeah.
family. You with someone like that passes away, there's a lot of things that have to get figured out. And we argued, no doubt about it. But what we do is we center a lot of our lives around my nieces and nephews or her grandkids,
Mm-hmm.
because those are the people that my mom would have cherished
Yeah.
and loved. And there are, kind of our next generation. And those are like just kind of the kids that keep us together, bring joy for us. And we can see, my mom, Naomi, in them.
Yeah. My grandma always says her grandkids are her life's best work.
Mm-hmm.
And probably your mom would agree with that as well.
Absolutely.
It's, man, the people that you get to do life with, and in Tracy and Naomi's case, the ones that they created together, that's your best work in life. Your kids, your grandkids. And, Tracy's talked with me alone personally that you're a lot like your mom.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, thank goodness he's more like his mom than me. But the gentleness and the curly hair.
Oh yeah.
But man, I never got to meet your mom, but I think you're exactly right that she gets to live on through her kids and her grandkids, and we're still feeling that impact.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. Your mom passes away. You and your family go through trauma, hard years, and then you decide to leave, like we mentioned before. You decided to leave Jamestown, go to UND. What was that first summer like? We reported in the middle of summer, just after July 4th. Over those first weeks going into your first fall camp, what was that like?
Well, you remember, they were tough.
We're tough.
They were tough. I mean, you're fresh 18, moving, and it's not that far. I know a lot of people move across the country. I just moved 2 hours. But, just on the kind of the side of my family, it's like I was so sad and felt a certain type of way because I left my dad. And obviously, he was early 50s. He's going to figure it out. He's a strong guy, but it's like, hey, this is my rock that I'm leaving. But as far as getting there, I mean, you remember, the summer weights were okay, right? Like they were really tough. But that first day of fall camp, it was literally 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. football all day for the next 30 days. And I remember after about day 5, I called my dad and I was like, Dad, I don't know if I could do this. Like this is hard.
The schedule that we had our first fall camp was different than any of our other years because the NCAA still allowed 2-a-days.
Mm-hmm.
And so we would have every other day, we'd have 2 practices. On a Monday, we'd have practice in the morning, then practice in the afternoon. And then the next day we'd have practice in the morning and then we'd lift in the afternoon. So you're always working out 2 times a day, but it was either a lift or a practice in the afternoon. The afternoon practices, you would get back from like lunch and meetings and your like stuff would still be wet.
Yes.
It was nasty, hot, wet. It was terrible. And I remember thinking the exact same thing. I remember I called my parents up and I was like, I don't know if this whole football thing is the right decision. And they gave me great advice. And I'm sure your dad told you the same thing. Like, just finish it.
Yeah.
Like, finish what you start. It's going to get better. And I'm so glad I did because it led to the best part of UND, all the friendships that we got on the football team. I mean, you have built-in friends. You got 100 guys that are all doing the same thing with you. But man, that first fall camp, I'm with you. Terrible. What do you remember like a specific story from that fall camp where it was like, welcome to college football?
Yes, actually. So it wasn't fall camp. It was before fall camp. Okay. So you guys, everyone reported July 5th, if you remember. Can't remember what I had going on, but I reported the following week and I hadn't met any of the freshmen. I hadn't met any of the players. All I was told is, here's your locker. Here's your stuff, your workout gear. We lift at 6 a.m. or whatever time it was.
Yeah.
So I get there, I get to the locker room, and who's the first person I see? Norberg.
Oh my.
So now,
goodness.
I mean, this guy is like ripped.
We got to flash a picture of Kyle Norberg. This is what he looked like back in our time at UND. Imagine that. Okay, keep going.
And I see him walk by, and I'm like, are they all like this? I mean, it was a welcome to Division I type of moment. Not very few people are like Kyle Norberg, so I figured that out, but it was a shock for sure.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Kyle Norberg, he might be one of the more ripped guys I've ever seen, but for sure played with. What are some of your best memories from playing at UND?
Yeah.
Let's go through a couple. Number one, what's your favorite stadium you ever played in?
I mean, it's hard not to say Washington.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of a next level, 80,000 fans. Also just a cool place, right? Like their tailgate was in water.
Sailgate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool. But man, if you remember when we were hot, right? After the freshman year, our first game at the Alaris, Missouri State.
Unbelievable.
Sold out crowd, I believe, or at least, packed to the brim. That's hard to beat.
That was one of the best environments I played in.
Yeah.
We beat them really bad. I think it was 38-3 or something like that. And we were a top 10 team preseason. We had just battled Utah. You played against some good players. Jalen Johnson, all pro guy for the Bears.
Yep.
You played against him. But we had battled Utah. We came home, and you're right. That is an underrated game.
Yes.
That was fun. The Alaris Center, we've said this many times. When the Alaris Center is full and rocking, they've got tin on the roofs. It gets really loud on the field level, and you don't even appreciate it as a fan because you don't get the other side's noise as much. But when you're on the field, it's pretty good atmosphere.
Oh yeah. I mean, everybody talks about NDSU, great atmosphere.
They do.
Montana State.
All of them do.
But don't forget about the Alaris Center.
Put some respect on the Alaris Center's name. Good stuff. I agree with you. Montana was fun.
Yeah.
That was a great atmosphere as well.
Yeah. Well, because they got the bowl, and you're surrounded on every side, which was really cool.
Give me the best player that you played with or against. Who are some of the players that just stick out for you?
I mean, the one that sticks out, you already mentioned, Jalen Johnson.
Yeah,
I mean,
stud.
he was a freshman that year, and I honestly don't think he played a whole lot, but there was something different about him, right? When you're running a route out there, you could not get separation.
Guy's just sticky.
I mean, he's just so sticky. We were fortunate in our careers to play some bigger schools and some good guys. I look at, Washington, starting corner for the Bikes, right? Yep. Byron Murphy Jr. Taylor Rapp, I think he's with the Bills.
Safety.
Some really good players. And I always thought they were really good, but I always thought we had some guys that could compete. If you remember at Washington, the game John Santiago had, I mean, he was making their secondary, when he'd get out into the open field, look foolish.
He could compete with them.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
I mean, he was as shifty as they come. Yep. And just explosive. And so, one of the more interesting guys that we got to play with was John. I just think his versatility and the way he could move. I mean, one person's not tackling him.
No.
Unless you meet him face on in a gap. But other than that, one person's not tackling him.
I think you can look at athletics. The top guys at the FBS level go play in the NFL. Right? They can compete in the NFL with those NFL guys. The top guys in the FCS level, so, North Dakota State, UND, Montana schools, the top guys, they can compete at the FBS level.
Yeah.
Right? It's like John. He could play at Washington.
Oh, absolutely.
Yourself, you never say it, but you could have played at the FBS level. Like the top FCS guys could fit in. And those games, I think, are dictated by 6 through 11. Because your top 5 guys, they're going to be able to match them, but like the FBS level, they got the depth to go with it, the skill. So I agree with you, man. John was a special player.
Yeah.
Cole Reyes is another one that was like,
Cole's stuff.
If he doesn't get hurt, man, Cole was special.
Yeah. Do you remember that play? And just speaking on John, do you remember that play at Portland State, that punt return? Well, I mean,
I think he broke 9 or
10 tackles.
unbelievable.
There was a couple times I think he bounced back, like he went backwards.
Yeah.
And he ended up scoring. It was just incredible.
I don't know if we can, if we have the rights to that video,
Yeah.
but if you guys want to go see one of the more spectacular football plays, go look up John Santiago, Portland State punt return. Unbelievable play.
Yeah.
There is one other play that I want to touch on, and it was a game that we all want to forget. It was in Pocatello, Idaho.
Oh,
We got killed.
never play well there.
It was not good. And we're down in the red zone. I think you might have ran like a slant, something over the middle. And just tell me what happened next.
I think that play, and I think it was called Reno, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Where I was in the slot, kind of sort of a pick play type deal where I, shimmied a little bit and broke outside.
Yep.
But Ketteringham had a little bit of pressure at that time. Nothing there, so I tried to bounce back in, if I remember right. And as I moved in, the linebacker converged on me and took my head off. I mean, we watched it on film. If I remember right, my helmet went 7 yards in the air. It didn't roll 7 yards. It went 7 yards in the air.
Like a rocket.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I didn't make the catch.
No, couldn't hold on to that one.
Got blown up. I don't know if I don't think I was knocked out, but I think it was one of those deals where it was like,
You were dazed.
where am I? And then the first thing I remember is you standing over me. I'm thinking, I didn't think he was in this play.
Oh yeah, so we've told this story before on the pod, so I don't need to retell it. But it's interesting to get your perspective. I wasn't in on the play. I came to have your back because you got cheap shotted, and I wasn't gonna let you get punked out there.
No.
So I had to tell him. I told him off a little bit, let him know, meet me outside. How about that? And then I just want to make sure you're all right. I remember you kind of like coming to and opening your eyes, and I remember saying like, Wanz, how we doing?
Yeah.
You all right there, lad?
Yeah. And you know what made it so much worse, and I think you could kind of even see it on film, is it wasn't a huge gash, but I got this cut right here.
Yes.
I think it was 3 or 4 stitches after the game. But man, was it bleeding.
Oh,
like it
buddy.
my dad recalls me walking off the field thinking, like, what happened to him? He is soaked in blood.
Yeah.
And he was laying on the ground, limp. So yeah, that was a crazy play.
It is a cool scar.
Yeah.
I think scars, right? All for all the football guys out there, man, wear those scars with honor, especially the ones on the face, up right above the eye. I got one right here. Man, it tells a good story. Yeah. So we have a good time at UND, man. We win a lot of games, won a conference championship together. I've told many people this. The memory that sticks out the most for me in all our time at UND, that's as clearest for me, was down in Thibodaux, Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
And it was your last game. You were all juiced up with anti-pain stuff. You had a bad shoulder? Bad knee?
Yeah, sprained my AC joint in my shoulder.
Yeah.
I get that bump going on and can hardly move it.
Yeah, and I remember you just gutting it out. Didn't go our way that day. And then after the game, I remember being in the locker room and just bawling because it was the end of an era.
Yeah.
End of something really, really special. Do you remember after the game in Thibodaux?
Yeah. I mean, it was a real, somber experience, right? Everyone's sad. I look back and recall the class we had that year and the amount of, important pieces and friends that we had that, that was it. Right. I mean, think about it, like Nate, Travis, like some real influential people in our lives. And it was over. Like a lot of these guys are moving back to California. They're moving back to Florida, people that we won't see, much, if not ever. But then when you and I, hugged it out and embraced after that, it felt different.
I don't even know how to describe it. Like, it was just like a weird, like it was just like the end. And we knew, like, I wasn't done playing yet, but it just felt like something was concluding. It was this weird moment. It's super emotional. And a few weeks later, you invited me on a ski trip.
Yep.
Tell me how all that went down.
Yeah, so it was kind of a deal where, and you and I had skied before, right? We went to Big Sky, and that was a great trip. We had an awesome time, and I was just kind of talking with my dad. I graduated a little bit early, 3.5 years, so graduated in December. And he said, what do you want for your grad gift? Like, don't I go on a trip, something like that? And I grew up skiing, loved to ski. Knew that you were a really good skier. You guys said, growing up, had always been to Big Sky, and for some reason Colorado was like, hey, that's one area where I've driven a lot
Mm-hmm.
west of Colorado, but I've never skied, and I really want to go out there. And so then we scheduled it. I invited you to come along. You drove to Jamestown, December 26th.
Yep. Flew out of
Flew
Jamestown.
out and we went on our trip.
So we go to Keystone, Colorado. We played spoons the night before.
Yep.
Remember that?
Yep.
I went, I got a lift in that morning. I came back up. Guys were getting ready. We hopped up on the gondola.
Yep.
Remember, I was fixing up my GoPro
Yeah.
to record everything. And take me through that first run. Remember, we took a picture at the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
Take me through that first run and give me your perspective of the next hour.
Yeah. I mean, it's excitement, right? Like it's jitters. It's almost kind of like, you're getting ready for a big game, because I hadn't skied in a couple years, and we have this really cool lodge at the base of the mountain. I think Julie was going to cook us lunch. Like, it was just a great situation. And then, we take that picture and we're going down, kind of the backside of the mountain, one of the, premier runs, and everybody was kind of going in front of us. Right. And that's what I remember. And you and I were kind of laying back a little bit. And then from my memory, I remember just kind of shooting. I'm like, hey, this is a groom trail. I'm going to see if I can get going quick and just kind of get my feet underneath me. And so you were towards the back, right? And so we get to the bottom, here comes my dad, here comes Scott,
Yep.
here comes my stepbrother Josh and his friend. No Hunter. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, you put Hunter with some ski boots on some skis with a helmet, and then you throw a GoPro on there. That's probably 6 feet 10 inches of human coming down the mountain. I should see this guy. Like, where is he?
Yeah, right.
And so we waited there a while, didn't have service. Finally got to the point where we're like, okay, maybe he broke his leg, just so many different scenarios. Maybe he went a different direction. Maybe if I go to the top of the mountain, I can get some service, or at the very least, I'll quickly come back down and see if I can see him somewhere.
So you go and you head up the mountain, and you're on the ski lift,
Mm-hmm.
right? Do you communicate with anybody on the ski lift, or do you just get off the ski lift at the top of the mountain, head down, and see what you see?
I mean, your mind doesn't go to, this is a real situation. Your mind goes to, he went the wrong way. We're going to see him, right? And that GoPro sticks in my mind, because, I'm thinking he's going to stick out. Like, there's not many, 6'6" tight ends with a foot on top of their head, right, with a GoPro. And so, I think it was Scott and I, we just got back on the ski lift. Everybody else waited for us at the bottom, and we're going to go up and see if we could find you. And that was after waiting quite a while, because you could have wiped out. Your ski could have went, a couple 100 yards down the mountain, and you have to figure it out. So we're thinking, okay, he's coming, giving it some time. But then it got to the point where, okay, like, I know Hunter, I know he's a good skier, I know he's athletic, and he probably wants to get the day moving. Like, he's got to be here.
Yeah.
So we just went up, as normal, and didn't ask anybody. Just if you remember that run, it was really 2 runs.
Yep.
Split by trees and then some channels between.
Yep.
So Scott went on the left, I went on the right. And we looked for you, but we looked for signs for you. And I'll never forget seeing the red ski patrol jackets, thinking, there's just no way. There's just no way.
Yeah.
But checking it out, and then I think you were wearing a brand new spider jacket.
Yeah.
I saw the spider jacket.
Yep.
And I was like, that's Hunter.
So you come over, and from my perspective, I remember you coming over and being a little frantic of, Hunter, are you okay? Like, what happened, kind of a thing. And do you remember what I first told you?
You first told me to call Bockel. Tell,
Yes, I'm
tell
so
him-
glad you remembered
tell
this.
him you weren't going to be able to back squat on Tuesday.
So first thing I told Wanz was like, I got to be able to lighten the mood a little bit. I'm just gonna tell him, call our strength coach at
Yep.
UND and tell him I'm gonna have to skip back squat for a few days.
Yeah.
And you were super serious, like, okay, and then you like realized like, oh, he's trying to joke about this
Yeah.
right now.
Yep.
And after that, it started to get a little fuzzy for me. I remember kind of flirting with the ski patrol, and then I went down the mountain. But give me your perspective from the time that we first talked to me going down the mountain and what kind of happened afterwards.
Well, I think it's a testament to how you've handled everything following, because I mean, here you are laying in these trees, just so positive. Like you were sitting there and you're unable to move your legs, right? And we're thinking, what's going on? Why is he being skied down the mountain? But from my standpoint and from Scott's standpoint being there, we were so positive. I mean, all the way to the end, right? Like here we are on the base of the mountain in Colorado with a helicopter landing to fit you in there. And the entire time we were so positive. We're like, Bruce, just Bruce, like he's going to be fine. Like everything's okay. But that was because of you. Like that was because you were doing the jokes, you were flirting with the ski patrol lady, you were saying everything's going to be all right. I remember praying when we were at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
So from my standpoint, it's like, hey, it's all right. We'll be back up here tomorrow.
Yep.
All we did was we're going to have to go get him checked out and we're going to come back. And I think that was just a testament to how you handled a situation, and it shows how you've handled it since.
I think it's a piece of God. I've told many people that's when prayer shows up in those moments and peace on your heart. And I knew it was serious in that moment, but I think there's just a piece of, man, I think it's going to be all right. And guess what? It ended up being all right.
Yeah.
Probably not how we thought all right was supposed to look.
Right.
But it ended up being all right. And we went to, I got airlifted off. You went to the hospital. We got ambulanced into Denver. And man, you were by my bedside for a lot of nights. I know the boys came down. Tell me about just kind of that first week after that all goes down. Remember, we spent New Year's Eve in the hospital.
Yeah. Well, for me, I was a recent college grad and unemployed, so I had all the time in the world. I wasn't leaving Colorado.
Yeah.
So I know my dad stayed with me. Scott stayed with me for a long time. And, it was just amazing to see the progression you made in that hospital from really just struggling to sit up to the things that you did from there. And so it was, hey, we're going to stay. We're going to have a good New Year's, right? We're going to play some card games. We're going to explore the city a little bit when Hunter's sleeping. And from there, it was just, you were positive. So I had to be positive. How could I not be positive, right? And so that really helped out.
How can you not be positive? How about when I took all your money playing poker?
Well,
you remember that game?
You got lucky.
I took everybody's money.
Yeah, you did actually.
I remember thinking to myself, like, man, this has got to be the first poker game I've ever won, but it sure is good timing.
Yeah.
Man, we'll throw some pictures on here, but that was a time in my life and probably in your life too, where I think our friendship, to go along with the other guys in our lives, who we are still very good friends with today.
Yeah.
When you go through hard things together, it binds you together. And you've seen that in your own family's life with the tragedy that struck your family. I've seen it in my life, but I think we've seen it in our lives together. That us being on that trip together, it brought us closer together. I mean, we were close already because we were teammates, but when you go through something life-changing like that, whether you like it or not, we're bonded now.
Yeah.
And that was forged through struggle. It makes you stronger. So man, as much as you don't want this to happen to you, there is a silver lining in that I've got some incredible friendships and relationships because we went through some really hard things together. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful. This is not how I would have written it, but I'm grateful because that trip has led to some of the best friendships that I've got in this life. So I don't know why it had to happen this way, but like you said, man, there's a plan underneath it that God knows, and we just have to trust. Man, we don't have all night. We literally could sit here all night and tell stories. Most of them I don't want my grandma to know, so we're not going to tell them. In all seriousness, though, we got probably too many memories, and we'll get you on someday, and we'll tell more of those stories. But I just want to ask this question. I asked my mom this, but I want to ask you too. When you look back on your life experiences, look back at your life, the people around you, what is an overcomer?
I mean, it's somebody that handles adversity to get to that goal that they were trying to achieve, even though the route might have gone a little bit differently. When I think about a question like this, I think about the older generation.
Yeah.
And I know, your Grandpa Fred, he's one of those guys where you just want to have a recorder out when he talks.
Yes.
Because there's wisdom in everything he says.
Yep.
My grandpa was very similar, right? And I think about overcoming. I mean, my dad tells me about back in the day, in the 80s, right? In the farm crisis, right? And not being able to hardly afford diapers.
Yeah.
And overcoming that for your family, right? And so it's fighting through that adversity, even though that path might look a little bit different, to get to that end goal. And I think that's, really what an overcomer is. And best example you can look at is our older people in our life.
Yeah.
Because it's, we're pretty fortunate in this day and age. Granted, we have problems going on in the world, obviously, but it's not always been, this steady and this optimistic. And so I look back at that older generation and think about some of the things they went through. I mean, talk about overcomers.
Yeah, no kidding. He's talking about his grandpa Marv. I got the chance to meet Marv when we were going to college, and he'd come to the games, and Marv was awesome. We talked about it earlier. You got a lot of your mom in you. You got a lot of your grandpa in you too, though.
Yeah.
You talk about, fighting through adversity. When I said your name to Coach Swagger, give me one word. His response, gritty, a grinder.
Yeah.
You just called your grandpa the same thing.
Yep.
And man, I look at my life, and I think we can all look at people in our lives where we want to be like them, right? We're chasing them. We see things in them that we want to now put into our lives. And if we're a product, or if we're halfway of the product of that person, we're going to be just fine. You could probably look back at your life and say you're a combination of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whoever those people are in your life. Man, you got some pretty good ones that you're chasing.
Yeah. If I can be just a percentage of Grandpa Marv, right? I think that'd go a long way.
You're gonna be just fine. We need more Marvs in life. Some of his stories too, man. We're gonna keep them off the pod.
Yeah. The injuries he is, farm injuries, stuff he is
a little too graphic. A little too graphic for the pod.
Yeah.
Oh man, Wanz, it's been good chatting. I hope people are able to see some of your heart, man. They got to see a lot of your heart on the field, but not only are you a great football player, but you're a great person, one of my best friends. And man, you've been through it. You're an overcomer. And so I just appreciate you sitting down with me, man. One of the things that we always end with is tell me something good.
Yeah.
And so we'll let you start. We'll hop over to Garrett behind the camera. Anna in the back is hanging out with Andy, and then I'll close it out. But Wanzek, closing out this sit down, tell me something good.
So I was able to think about this because you told me we were going to do this, or I got to see it, right? But this weekend at the Capitol, they're doing a walk for Down syndrome.
Yeah.
And my Aunt Gail, who's
Awesome.
probably your number one fan, has a posse with her, and is going down and doing that. And so I think it's always awesome to see her get celebrated. And, you know, she was an athlete for many years with Special Olympics. And so just kind of a cool deal.
Let's go. By the time that this podcast gets released, that will have happened.
Yep.
We're going to need a picture and we're going to flash it. There's Gail walking.
Yeah.
So if Gail's listening, shout out to you, Gail. I'm looking forward to the next time I see you. She is the life of the party, Gail.
Oh, yeah.
No doubt. Garrett, tell me something good.
Columbus, Ohio.
Oh my goodness. From last episode, Garrett with the embarrassment of the year, not knowing that there's not a professional sports team in Columbus. If you haven't listened to episode 8, go listen to it. Shout out to Columbus though. Hey, tell me what's in Columbus, Garrett.
Some NHL team.
Some NHL team. He tried to stump me with Columbus, didn't get it. Anna, give me something good.
Cozy fuzzy blankets.
Cozy fuzzy blankets. That could have been in last episode's top fall things, just like cozy, cuddling up, fireplaces on,
Nothing better.
45 degrees, a little chilly, throwing a hoodie. That might be even a little too chilly. 55 degrees.
Throw on Harry Potter.
Throw on some Harry Potter. Get the movie, what'd you call it? Movie marathon. Yeah. Total fall thing. Little, PSL, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sitting on the
That
coffee
was my
table.
something good a couple episodes back.
I can't believe that none of us drafted PSL to our favorite fall things. That's why we need women to balance us, Garrett. What are some of your favorite fall activities?
I mean, you got the pumpkin patch,
That was on mine. Thank you. 1 point for me.
watching football.
I was tailgating. All right, point for me again. You had that?
Friday Night Lights.
Oh,
That's
all right.
way closer to mine.
Fair.
Hunting.
Fair. Hunt. Oh, dude, I didn't even say hunting. I love bow hunting, rifle. Yeah, shoot. I missed on hunting.
Yeah.
That's a big miss on mine. You know, I'm gonna close this out. And something good that I saw. You know, we talk a lot on this podcast of overcoming, and we bring examples of people that have done it before us and people that are doing it in front of us. And anytime loss of life, man, I think it's a tragedy. And I saw the funeral service of Charlie Kirk, and we're not going to get into people's views on Charlie Kirk, but I just want to talk about his funeral service. And there was 80,000 people that came there, and it was a 5-hour service. It had 2 hours of worship music, and then over 3 hours of people talking about this man's life and the impact that he had. And I just think, man, 80,000 people were in the stadium. At one point, there was 100 million people watching it online.
Wow.
And the gospel of Jesus Christ got shared that day with millions of people across the world. That's good. That's really good. I'm a believer. You're a believer. It's terrible when anybody dies. But to see the impact that life had going, after he's gone from this earth, man, that's, I hope, what we all aspire for. That when we're gone, what we left here made it better than when we came in to this world. And I just saw that, and it gave me some hope. That's like, you know what? People can unite in tragedy. People can come together, and something good can come from it. And so that's my something good is, I saw that, and I was inspired, and I'm unapologetic for my faith in Christ and the gospel of Jesus Christ. And so I saw that, and that's something good. All right, Wanz. Well, prediction, we got the Vikes Does Carson Wentz get benched for JJ McCarthy? That's the question we're closing this thing out with. JJ's coming back. Do you roll with Carson?
I think, well, isn't JJ sitting out another week?
He's got bum ankle. They're saying potentially next week.
I think you roll Carson Wentz the next 2 games because then we're into the bye week.
Okay. Carson Wentz, take us home. We're Sioux guys, but we're North Dakota boys first. So we'll roll with Carson. Man, once.
Not wish that to be awesome, though.
Of course, man.
A Bismarck guy.
Carson Wentz, if he somehow leads the Minnesota Vikings to a Super Bowl, I don't care what color of green you wear in North Dakota. We are all going to be Carson Wentz fans if the Vikes go win the Super Bowl. So
I saw someone say that Carson Wentz is the first Vikings quarterback to go through the pain we've gone through.
He knows.
So it means a little bit more,
It does.
and he could be the one. So I'm hoping and praying for that.
Oh, good stuff, man. Wanz, thanks for coming and sitting down with me. Man, I hope you guys took something from today. If you haven't already, please, man, it takes you 5 seconds. Like, subscribe, share this, and yeah, y'all can get up now. Thanks for coming to the sit down. Hey guys, hope you guys enjoyed that sit down with Noah. In the next couple weeks, we're going to do another Q&A session. So if you want to leave a comment on any of the platforms, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, whatever it is, leave a comment with a question or shoot us a DM on Instagram, TikTok, whatever you want. Leave us a comment, leave us a question that we'll feature on one of the next podcasts coming up, and we'll do a little Q&A session. So hope you enjoyed this episode, and leave a comment and we'll get to your question on the next one. Thanks, guys.